hey, honey, if you don't maintain this physical appearance for me, I'm not going to be sexually attractive to you
Yep.
no more. We have these real conversations. We're adults. We're husband and wife. You should be able to say anything to your significant other.
Yeah.
Screw this modern day and age talk about we live in a sexless marriage. Hey
Hey
everyone,
guys.
welcome back to another
Mhm.
episode of His and Hers. This is my beautiful wife.
Nice to meet everyone. Sim again.
Yep, my name is Tuan.
Mhm.
And guys, thank you so much for sharing us, coming out to our video today.
Yes.
Welcome all the loyal viewers.
Mhm.
Welcome new viewers, of course, right?
Yes.
Guys, if you're here, I'm going to, like I said, ask for your guys' help again. Please
Yes.
subscribe to the channel.
Mhm.
We're trying to hit that 1,000 subscription mark, right?
Yes.
Smash that like button, right?
Ooh.
Turn on the notification bell
Mhm.
so that way you're notified. Check out our channel over at TikTok at His and Hers YT.
Mhm.
And of course, comment and share, guys, right? Spread the truth,
Mhm.
debunk the lies, right? Get
Yes.
all those things out there so that way you guys can get positive outcomes and
Mhm.
obviously, hopefully, help other people get positive
True.
outcomes,
Mhm.
right? So,
Yes.
yeah. Today, guys, speaking of positive outcomes, honey,
Uh-huh.
today, guys, we're going to be following, this is like a follow-up video to a video we shot recently about how we met
Mhm.
and it's just how we kind of made things work
Yep.
when we first met, right?
Yes.
And so today the follow up is how do we make things continue to work,
Yep.
right? And some of the obstacles
Mhm.
that we face. And so I'm going to say some specific obstacles that I can remember specifically. And
Mhm.
then obviously, honey, you can add, some obstacles that you can think of
Oh yeah.
specifically. And we'll just let you guys kind of know how we tackled it
Mhm.
as husband and wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so honey,
That's
you want to start? Is there a specific obstacle that you can think of off the top of your head that you remember that we had to face?
yeah. Remember when we had to open our shop and we bought a house at the same time. We
Okay,
were young.
so life changes, right?
Uh-huh.
Huge life changes,
That was
right?
a major life change.
Correct. So obviously, guys, when you're younger, you maybe are still
Mhm.
living with your parents. Maybe you're still living with roommates.
Yep.
In essence, you just haven't transitioned to being on your own
Mhm.
and independent yet.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what my wife is referring to. And I know when we first initially took that step, I'll let you guys be honest 100%. Like,
Mhm.
it was forced in a way,
Yeah.
right? And I think as parents, you want the best for your kids. But at a certain point, I totally agree that at a certain point, you got to let the kids kind of stand on their own 2 feet.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, we were, in essence, for lack of better words, kind of like pushed to be more independent,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Especially in Asian households. I know you guys like me
Mhm.
talking about Asian kind of topics all the time. And
Mhm.
in the Asian households, typically, that push to kind of like become independent is a little bit less stress than I guess an
Mhm.
American
Yeah.
Western type of
Mhm.
atmosphere would be, right?
Yep.
And so it's kind of like you try to stay within the family as long as you can and help each other out. But
Mhm.
I think that could be detrimental to the
Mhm.
kids. And
Yeah.
me personally, I think the sooner, especially as a man, the
Mhm.
sooner you can get out there and become independent, the
Yep.
better it will be for you because you learn
Mhm.
how to, in essence, swim on your own, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we took on a lot of endeavors. Like, when we first started getting married,
Mhm.
we literally moved out of our houses.
Mhm.
So we had to go get a place of our own,
Yep.
right? And so now you're responsible
For the
for
bills.
the bill. I mean,
Oh
you have
yeah.
this
A lot of
mortgage that
stuff.
you have to be
Mhm.
responsible. Otherwise, you're gonna be out on your own, right?
Oh yeah.
And don't get me wrong, guys. Family is still there
Oh yeah.
always. I mean, if you have a strong knit family unit, which we always
We did.
promote here, right? And we
Mhm.
always emphasize that you should. They're gonna be your backup if need be. But the
Mhm.
truth is, you don't want that
No.
as your kind of excuse to fail,
Yeah.
right? And so
You go ahead.
yeah, so we went on our own, and then at the same time, I like started my shop at the same time,
Mhm.
right around the same time, pretty much. It was shop first, and then the house,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it was like really within a span of only a few years
Yeah,
that
we're
we did
getting
that.
married and all that stuff too.
So yeah,
Yeah.
marriage, then moving out, getting the shop open, and then
Mhm.
after that, getting our own place. So one of the huge obstacles that you guys
Mhm.
have to understand is that puts a lot of stress on your relationship,
Oh yeah. We didn't
right?
have a honeymoon. We jumped into business, a home. For
Correct. I went
literally.
straight to work right after
Yeah.
the wedding. I remember. Right.
Yeah, we didn't have a honeymoon,
know, and
and
that's
still no honeymoon. Still,
Kind of unfortunately,
so late.
Fortunately
It's more
or
like a
unfortunately,
vacation.
whichever is like kind of the Asian mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't have the honeymoon.
Nope.
I went
No
straight into
honeymoon.
working, and this is kind of where like you knowing your values, going back to kind of our initial video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing your values, knowing your obviously husband and wife, your
Yep.
wife's values, right? And that trust and kind of that vetting process, right?
Yep.
Knowing who you are, then being able to vet this other person, knowing who they are, that
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of like be able to trust each other, say, hey, I got to go do this. You got to do this.
Yep.
And be able to be comfortable to be away from each other to make
Make things
financial success happen, right? I told you guys that there's kind of like two ways to go about doing it, right? You
Yeah.
can kind of like be a man and be like successful in the beginning, and then find obviously a wife, and then you are the provider, and then
Yep.
she kind of does all her feminine female wife duties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do it the way that we did it, which was I wasn't in that financial status yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we build it together.
Yep. We both
There-
gotta go to work, and
There are definitely pros and cons to either
Yep.
system, but I would, like I was telling you guys in one of my other videos, I would suggest the former than the latter, because I would rather, as guys, I'd rather have you all, prepared and have all your values high already before you took on this endeavor, because it's not easy to form a relationship and have a strong, like, get to know both sides if you're still trying to work on your values. How we made that obstacle work, and this is kind of why what you guys want to hear from us, is that we already had a kind of our core values strong, right? So our fitness levels were both strong, right? We had this attraction for each other, right?
Yep.
And so mentally we were both strong already as well too with the fitness, right? So I could go work and I wouldn't be stressed out. I could put in long hours. I wouldn't be stressed out. And my wife was strong enough as well mentally that she didn't need me around 24/7.
Yep.
Correct. And then in terms of like the finance, we both worked at the time.
Yeah.
So guys, like, this is what we talk about all the time, being average earners, which we
Doesn't
both
matter.
were.
We were
or
average.
or I would even say kind of slightly below average, because
Yeah.
I was just starting my business. If you're willing to work with each other
Yeah.
and know your values, you can make it work.
Yep.
It's we talk about all the time, and I hate to like point fingers, but like obviously the modern woman, the modern day and age woman doesn't want that.
Yeah.
They are entitled. They feel like they're entitled to obviously a prepackaged man already. But ladies, I'm telling you, if you guys are able to work with the man that shows, like you guys always say, you guys want a man with ambition. Well, you have to work with him to be able to build it.
Yeah, but then you also have to bring your values to the table. Did you upkeep yourself? Do you care about him? Did you
Correct,
cook?
yeah.
Do you keep the house clean?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Do you nurture him and
Yeah.
nurture yourself? I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to do, and you have to be mentally strong. You have to be willing to change it for each other, for the best outcome for yourself. And then there's nothing wrong with average. My husband and I, we were, like he said, we're average, partially below average when we started. We're young, 23, 24 when we got married.
Correct.
And then here we're taking all in everything from, opening up a new shop, sacrificing, a lot of people be like, oh my God, I want like a, beautiful honeymoon. Well, we have to think that something has to sacrifice. If we're going to open a shop and we're going to take
We
it
had
like
to
buying
put
a house.
that money into our
to
house
the
and our
house,
business.
yeah,
We
so-
didn't go spend it on
Yeah.
a huge honeymoon.
And
right?
I didn't buy like, I don't know, $10,000 wedding dress or whatever else. There are sacrifices you have to make. Yes, we had a wedding that was nice because of our parents that put it together for us.
Correct. Yes.
Literally,
That's where family
that's
comes
how
into play.
family is. That's the Asian culture. How the guys, pays for a certain thing, and then the woman pays for a certain thing, like in the house type, what do you call it,
But
ceremony.
I think the key that you mentioned earlier was like, she did all her duties without obviously expecting me to be ready already.
Yeah.
And obviously I did all my duties to make sure that she was able to kind of fulfill her duties. So like guys, like, she kept herself in shape. I would wake up in the morning and go work out still and keep myself in shape. And then I would go work and then come home late at night, 10 o'clock. And this is, like I said, you guys want real talk. You guys want obviously real information on how we were able to make it work.
Yep.
you got to stay sexually attracted to one another.
Yeah.
Right? So she kept herself in shape. I kept myself in shape. Yes, it was stressful. We didn't make as much money as we like. We have all these bills that we just took on, right? But we got to do it, make it work for each other, right? So I would still work these long hours. And I don't come home and she's telling me like, oh, I'm tired tonight, honey. Or I don't come home and I say, hey, honey, I'm tired tonight. No, I show her that I'm still physically attracted to her, right? Right? As a man, I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. Like, I get it. Like, a lot of guys now, they want women to be kind of more, I guess, like outgoing when it comes to the sex and to like all like the attraction, right? They want the woman to like you come home from a hard days of work and now you think that you're like, hey, I've been putting all this work at my job, and now I want my wife to when I come home to like please me, right? But guys, you have to understand that she had a whole long day doing her duties at home too, and yes, she will please you if you have the motivation. Right? Most women that are, if you want to say for lack of better words, traditional, right? That have those traditional values, they don't want to act like a 304. They don't act like a slut, right? That's the reason why you want to marry them, because they are holding themselves to this higher standard. But that also means that they want to, obviously have this physical and sexual attraction to their husband, but you have to instigate that. Right? So I tell you guys all the time, it doesn't matter how hard you work. You got to keep yourself in shape. You got to stay physically attractive to your wife, and you got to want it. That means you come home, and as much as like, let's say she's tired or you're tired, you got to say, hey, honey, I want you still. What if that's rubbing, if that's kissing, if that's caressing, if that's talking about it. We have these talks. We give you guys the advice of honesty, right? You got to be honest. Say, honey, I want to have sex at night, every night with you. I want to do these things all the time, even though I'm freaking tired. If you don't show that as the man, the woman can only do that so many times throughout your guys' relationship. Remember, it's the guys that do the chasing, right? We're the hunters. We're the ones that chase for the sex. So if you lose that urge and you lose that, that attraction, and you're not going, why would you think she's going to? No. Right? And then these are the conversations. Like I said, I think this is a video that I really want to tell people out there, because I think maybe people are shy to say it, or maybe people feel like, oh, hey, once I'm married, I don't got to think this way anymore. No, you as the man, like, it doesn't, like I told you, I'd be working 7 days a week, come home at 11 to 12 o'clock at night. I would do it if my wife was into it. Right? Obviously, like I said, if she's dead tired from her day, I'm not going to try to force the issue, right? But I don't care. Like, if she wants to do it and I'm ready and I want to do it, which I did, I'm going to do it.
It takes two to tangle, women. It takes two to tangle. Correct. When your husband needs it, you can't just be like, I'm so tired all the time either, because you have to think that he worked a lot of hours too. And sometimes men have their urges. And I understand sometimes you lady be like, well, I have a day's work and whatever else. But it takes two. Yeah, like, you have to
It takes two, but my lesson to you guys out there is that this is how, one of the things that we talk about all the time, right, in the RP community, men lead. This is how we lead. Yep. You got to show that you're always physically attracted to your wife, right? And then you got to hold her to this standard. Hey, honey, if you don't maintain this physical appearance for me, I'm not going to be sexually attractive to you no more. We have these real conversations. We're adults. We're husband and wife. You should be able to say anything to your significant other, Screw this modern day and age talk about, we live in a sexless marriage. I barely have sex with my wife. That's your fault, guys. Like, I get it. There's going to be some ladies that let themselves go, but hold them accountable then, right? We talk about in the RP community at all. Like, yes, we put blame both sides, but I'm putting blame on the men in terms of this. If you're such a weak beta husband and you don't tell your wife, like, hey, I want to have sex with you and you better keep your ass in shape, otherwise I'm going to divorce your ass, that's your fault. I'm just letting you run right now. Like, I told my wife this, and I'm going to keep telling her this, because that's the standard I hold for myself, is I got to make sure I'm bringing my part. And I want her to let her know that, hey, those are the things that are going to keep me faithful and attracted to you. And so that's how you have to
it
show
goes
your
both
leadership.
ways. I mean, you have to tell your husband too. I mean, if he's like letting himself go and he's going to gain 200 pounds, starting to get a big gut and whatever else, how's that attractive?
Comes home from work and doesn't take a shower. Like, guys, I was working on cars the other day. I'm like coming home greasy. You think she's going to want to have sex with me if I'm like smelly and dirty?
Or you don't brush your teeth.
So that's my so that's my point.
Everything.
My point is like you got to come home even though you're tired. You got to brush your teeth. We'll take a shower. Smell good. Prepare yourself. And then approach your wife and be like, hey, I want to have sex. You can't.
I could be so tired. I'm like maybe working 2 jobs. I don't care. I would still have to brush my teeth, floss, whatever else. I got to go through my whole routine.
You got to do these.
You know, you have to do all that stuff. It doesn't matter. Like you can't go a day just like, oh my God, I'm not going to, I'm so dead tired from watching all the kids and I can't do this. No, you got to dress up for your man. You got to sometimes be romantic. You got to set up a candlelight dinner or whatever else, or just go out with the 2 of you or something, just make something special. Because you know why? Just because you're married or you have kids, it does not mean you should ignore each other. You shouldn't.
Guys, this is the other thing too.
Love should still keep
you
sparking.
met each other a certain way. And then you fell in love a certain way.
Yeah.
How you expect to continue falling in love with each other or staying in love with each other if those standards fell?
Yeah.
Right? It's like you bought a Ferrari and then now you just let that Ferrari go to crap and now it's freaking such a POS that you don't want to drive it anymore, right? So it's like the same analogy.
Yeah.
If you met yourself in a young and you guys are both beautiful and handsome and and you met yourself with these requirements in place, you can't let yourself go then expect the same results.
Yeah.
That's why I told you guys it's constant work even after marriage.
Oh yeah.
Right?
So work. And if you're not going to put the effort into it, I'm sorry, gentlemen or ladies, whatever, out there, well, guess what? It's not going to work.
Correct.
It isn't going to work. And if you're not going to be honest with each other and say, hey, get your butt to the gym, or hey, you're starting to smell, your hygiene, da-da-da. You just got to be honest. Honest is the best policy, just like, with your kids, with the world. If you see something wrong, say something, whatever. Just got to be honest,
Yeah. I think this was a great video. I mean, obviously we didn't touch on too many more things that was thing, but I think this is a really good video that you don't hear too often. It's like the sexless marriage is such a huge problem in our society, right? And I'm telling you guys, one, it's the man. Like, you're the man, you're the leader. You gotta keep yourself in shape. You can't expect, now I bought the car. I should be able to drive this car whenever I want to.
No.
Right? Well, are you that same man that qualified for the vehicle? Right? How did you get that Ferrari? You had to be able to be a man that was well-to-do enough to afford that Ferrari. So what? Now you let your standards go, and then somehow you can still expect to own and upkeep this Ferrari. Right? Yeah. You got to pay maintenance costs on a Ferrari, right? And you can't just expect it to like run forever, right? So same analogy, right? If you want to be the man and be the leader, you got to maintain those standards, and then you got to maintain that urge for the Ferrari, right? So many people get the goal, and then they just kind of drop off after they get the goal.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, I think the sexless marriages, this is one where I really put it on the guys and not on the women. And I get it, the women don't add to it because obviously as the guy drops off, the woman drops off as well too. But guys, this is kind of where you have control of the relationship. Like you got to have that mindset, stay focused, push your wife for that. And don't, unfortunately, I don't want to say it in such a wrong way, but don't take no for an answer. It is what it is, right? Like you're the one that has to be able to get that out of her because you're the one that's supposed to do the chasing. So, hey guys, we'll make another video because I know there's so many other things that we can give you guys advice on to how we made it work out. And these are real talks, guys. These are like, not I guess like socially acceptable conversations to have, but we got to have them, especially as husband and wife. If you can't be honest with each other and say these things, then you can see why it's not working. That's why marriages are not working in this modern day and age. So.
And we're all about honesty with you guys, like an open book. So feel free to, ask us other questions, how we try to make things work out, because, like we said, be honest with each other. And hold your values, how you guys met, how do you spark, whatever, have that spark still, because you don't want to use that age thing or whatever else, I can't stand it, or, I had a baby and that's why I got the baby bump. It's just excuses. It's just excuses to pull yourself down. And what does that do for you? Then there's more of this, more of that, negative stuff coming around you. You don't want that. We don't want that for you.
Correct.
So, I mean, we know that life isn't perfect, but you can try to make it better. Correct. That's all we can say.
Thanks, you guys.
Okay, bye.
See you.